Elly Tumwine. Besides me is Jeremiah Atunjisa Tumwine, who took the reading. And this is a son's eulogy of his father. I am 35 years now, 35 years of training, now the work begins. Who he was. Elly Tumwine. He later changed his name to Elly. But he really liked, when he got saved, he said, I want to start using my old name back. There was none like him. He was a child of God. He was a general of the NRA UPDF, the husband of one, the father of many, both literally and figuratively. He was a brother to rely on and count on, an anchor to his siblings, a friend in every time of need. He was an artist and designer, a teacher of many subjects, a farmer with deep love for the Ankoli longhorned, a lover of music and a creator of psalm, a patron of many associations and clubs, a man of culture, especially the Ankoli culture, a student of nature and God's design, a very practical man. He was a philosopher and avid reader, and until recent, a YouTube watcher. He was an original. There will never be any like him. What he taught. It's never too late to start doing the right thing. To have what's down rather than what's up. Echibuka wagulu, otega wansi. Use your intellect to help people on the ground. No one knows everything and no one knows nothing. The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. If you want to run very fast, run alone. But if you want to go very far, run with others. The future belongs to the organized, and the better future to the better organized. Spend time on the most important aspects of life, especially time with others, rather than being ruled by clocks and watches. People have lost time for others and for enjoying the wealth they have. The fresh air, the sunshine, the fauna and flora. Now, many have shared about his past. Many have shared about the last time they interacted with him. But I will share the last 2 weeks of his life. Our last 14 days with him were a furnace where my mother, Brenda, and those who joined us later were tested to the core. The US Navy SEALs, considered by many as one of the most elite soldiers in the world, have 5.5 days of intense training, also known as Hell Week. It is the hardest and most grueling week in their training. In the few or many years of my life, these 14 days were that for me, and I was not a Navy SEAL. To see your father look at you and tell you the words you fear the most, not with his mouth, but with his eyes, and in Daddy's case, with one eye, is one of the hardest things I have experienced. To come day after day and see that look, that face that carried a smile and hearty laughter, be the same face that told you his last words and love, all wrapped in one, was truly a tough one. But we had help. We had help, and it carried us through. Who was this help, you wonder? It was not a man, no medicine, no intellect, none of that, nothing. It was the one and only Almighty God. He used men, medicine, and intellect, as well as time, to show us who is truly in charge. Even to the end, he did not forsake us. Even to this very moment, he has not forsaken us. We had our own motto during this time. It was something we learned during one of our many morning devotionals. God is with us, and God is working. My observations and conclusions. 1. In the end, all roads lead to God. No matter who you are or what you do, it begins and ends with Him. 2. Family is God's first choice for the people you should think with, plan with, and do most of the things in this world. 3. Taking the best responsibility for family and working in whatever way you can is more important than being perfect. 4. Who my father was, I cannot be, at least not by myself. That's a task for all of us standing here, and some of you listening to the sound of my voice. He believed that everyone was unique, and it's that differentness that made us all special. In his own eulogy to the late Jacob Olanya, he wrote, and now I will read the same words for his own eulogy. He has left a gap in our lives and in many positions. The challenge for all alive is to fill that gap in a small or big way. Fill his gap not as him, but as you in your own way. Let us do our best to add to his foundation. Let us add to his ideals. Let us improve where he left. Let us achieve his vision to which he devoted his life. Let us make the best of what Elly Tumwine stood for. 5. I will share 2 stories that are a landmark and very, very, very important in the Tumwine household. He shares one of his mother. As she was going into surgery, she whispered a prayer. God, if your desire is that I should come to you, then take me. But if you still think I have purpose in this world, then let me come off this operation table. I assume he too whispered those words, and God chose the latter. He fought the good fight, he finished the race, he kept the faith. The second story is of his own father. On the day he got his acceptance letter to Makerere, 2 things happened. That then what was considered boom or facilitation for government-sponsored students was cancelled. But the next letter that he got was what really did it in for him. On that day, he got a letter telling him that his own father had passed on. And the one thing that forever will ring in our household is what he said to that. I will manage. To him, he made that by himself, and he indeed managed, as is evident by the people standing before you, by the stories and testimonies you've had, and by his legacy. The difference here is I am not alone. At the acceptance of my father's death, we will manage. I have siblings, I have friends, I have many people that Daddy touched, and I will not spare to use each and every one of them. Because he taught us how to work together, he taught us how to manage together. 6. The best gifts are those that cannot be paid back in full. Whether I will pay back Daddy, that's the next leg of my journey. I will end with a verse that will forever ring true in my head and in my heart. And I would like to share it with you. For all sons, this is for you. For all sons that have lost fathers, this is for you. 1 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 9. 1 Chronicles chapter 28, verse 9. As for you, my son Solomon, so I will change this. As for you, my son Daudi, know that God your father, know the God of your father, and serve him with a whole heart and a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts and understands every intent of the thoughts. If you seek him, he will let you find him. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. Daddy, we will seek him together. Rest in peace, Daddy. Thank you.